Flight 712 was supposed to be routine Los Angeles to Atlanta. For hours, smooth skies. Mia Carter fixed her scarf, flashed her practice smile, and welcomed passengers like she'd done 1,000 times. But tonight felt different. The cabin lights seemed dimmer, the air heavier, like a storm hiding behind calm. As the last bag slammed into overhead bins, Mia noticed a man in 22C board late. Head down, hoodie up, moving like he didn't want to be seen. He didn't make eye contact with anyone. He slid into 22C and pressed himself against the window, shoulders tense, hands tucked under his thighs. Mia watched him while doing the final cabin check. Most passengers looked tired or annoyed, but this man looked afraid. When she passed, he flinched slightly, then forced a polite nod. He was young, maybe late 20s, but his face had the drained look of someone who hadn't slept in days. Mia kept walking, but her instincts stayed behind. As the plane pushed back, Mia heard the familiar safety briefing play through the speakers, but her eyes kept drifting to 2C. The man stared at the seatback screen, blank and off, like it was showing something only he could see. When the seatbelt sign clicked on, he tightened his strap too hard, knuckles whitening. Mia told herself not to judge. People fly for all kinds of reasons. Still, something about his silence felt like a warning, like he was counting down to something. At 10,000 feet, Mia began beverage service. When she reached 2C, the man finally looked up. His eyes were bloodshot, rimmed red, and his lips parted as if he wanted to say something. Instead, he cleared his throat and asked for water. Mia handed it over and their fingers brushed. He jolted like touch burned. "You okay?" she asked softly. He swallowed and nodded too fast. Then he slid something onto her tray, a folded napkin, before staring away. Mia didn't open it right away. Rules said never accept suspicious items. But it wasn't a package, just a napkin folded small, like a secret. She tucked it into her apron and continued service, heart thumping faster than it should. Back in the galley, she unfolded it carefully. The handwriting was shaky, urgent. 4 words stood out in all caps. Asterisk, asterisk, don't let me land. Beneath it, if I do, she dies. Asterisk, asterisk. Mia's breath caught in her throat. For a moment, the airplane noise blurred into a distant roar. Mia read the note again, hoping she misunderstood. But the meaning stayed sharp. She looked out through the curtain at the passengers laughing, sipping soda, unaware they were sharing air with a threat. Her coworker, Rachel, noticed Mia's face drain. "Mia, what is it?" Mia held the napkin up with trembling fingers. Rachel's eyes widened. "Is this a joke?" Mia whispered. "It doesn't feel like one." Mia forced her feet to move. She walked back to 2C, crouched slightly, and kept her voice calm. "Sir, I found your note," she said quietly. His jaw clenched. He didn't deny it, stared straight ahead, whispering without moving his lips. "They made me do it," he said. "If I don't follow instructions, they kill my sister." Mia's skin went cold. "Who's they?" she asked. He swallowed hard. "I don't know names. I just know they're waiting when we land." Mia's training clicked in keep, calm, assess, alert cockpit. But fear is different when it sits inches away. "Do you have anything on you?" she asked. The man hesitated, then shook his head slightly. "Not yet," he whispered. "They said I'd get it at the airport. I'm supposed to deliver something." His voice cracked. "I didn't want to, I swear." Mia stared at his shaking hands. She believed him, and that terrified her more, because it meant the danger was real. Back in the galley, Mia typed a coded message into the interphone to the cockpit short. "Controlled, the way drills taught. Possible threat. Passenger note. Hostage coercion." The captain responded instantly. "Keep eyes on him. We're contacting operations." Mia's pulse hammered as she returned to the aisle, pretending to tidy cups. She watched for anything unusual. Bags, whispers, glances exchanged. Everyone looked ordinary. That's what made it worse. Danger doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it sits quietly in 2C. Turbulence hit, and the cabin jolted. A baby cried. Someone laughed nervously. The man in 22C went rigid, eyes darting to the aisle like he expected someone to rush him. Mia leaned close. "Listen," she murmured. "We can protect your sister, but you have to tell me everything." His throat bobbed. "They have her phone," he whispered. They sent me photos. Her in a basement. They said if I talk, she'll scream and nobody will hear. A tear slipped down his cheek. Mia's chest tightened. This wasn't a villain. This was a trapped human. Mia asked his name. Evan, he whispered. Evan Ross. His hands trembled as he pulled his phone out and showed her a single message thread with unknown numbers. The last text read, **** land. Walk fast. Do not look for help. ***. Mia fought the urge to snatch the phone. She memorized the number. Evan, she said, look at me. He finally did, eyes glassy. You did the bravest thing already, she told him. You warned someone, he whispered, and now she'll pay. In the galley, the captain's voice came through again, low and firm. Mia, we've notified federal authorities. We're being advised to continue landing normally. Do not escalate. Mia's stomach dropped. Landing normally meant the people waiting could still move. Mia looked through the curtain at Evan. His shoulders were collapsing inward like he was folding into himself. There has to be another way, Rachel hissed. Mia's mind raced. You can't stop a plane midair. But you can slow the moment of landing, delay the handoff, buy time, create eyes. Mia approached an older couple near the front, calm faces, travel-worn eyes. She leaned in and whispered, Sir, ma'am, I need help quietly. Don't panic. Can you call 911 the second we touch down and tell them there's a coercion threat involving a passenger in 2-C? The woman's eyes widened, but she nodded. Mia did the same with 2 other passengers she sensed could handle a tan off-duty nurse, a man in a suit who looked like former military. She didn't create chaos. She created witnesses. As the plane began its descent, Mia sat in her jump seat, face composed, hands gripping the belt strap. Evan stared out the window, breathing fast, sweat shining on his forehead. Mia caught his eye and mouthed, Stay with me.
Oh.
He blinked hard as if trying not to fall apart. The wheels lowered with a heavy thud. Atlanta's lights spread beneath them like a glittering trap. Mia whispered a prayer she hadn't said in years. Not for herself, but for a sister in a basement somewhere. Touchdown. The plane jolted, tires screeching, then the roar of reverse thrust filled the cabin. Mia watched Evan's face, pure dread, like a man walking toward his own execution. When they reached the gate, the captain intentionally slowed, then paused longer than usual before turning off the seatbelt sign. Passengers groaned, impatient. Mia stood and smiled. Thank you for your patience, she announced, voice steady. Behind her, Rachel quietly positioned herself near Evan's row, ready to block if needed. The seatbelt sign finally clicked off. People stood, grabbed bags, flooded the aisle. Mia moved fast. She stepped into the aisle near 22C and held up both hands. Folks, please remain seated for just one moment, she said with gentle authority. We have a passenger medical situation and need space, murmurs rose. Evan froze. His eyes widened in panic, like he knew the lie might cost him. Mia leaned down close and whispered, Trust me. If you bolt, you disappear. If you stay, we can save her. Evan's breathing turned ragged. They'll see, he whispered. Mia scanned the doorway. 2 airport staff members stood near the jet bridge, but one didn't look like staff too alert, scanning faces instead of paperwork. Mia's stomach sank. She lifted her interphone and called the cockpit again. I think someone's waiting at the door, she murmured. The captain's voice came back. Authorities are seconds out. Hold position. Mia's heart pounded like drums in her ears. Seconds can feel like years when a life hangs on them. Mia made a decision that would change everything. She stepped into the aisle, turned toward passengers, and raised her voice still calm, but sharper. Everyone, I need your attention, she said. If you see something that feels wrong, speak up. Right now, the cabin quieted. Evan's eyes filled with tears. The staff-looking man at the door stiffened. Mia kept her gaze on him, letting him know he was seen. That was the power. Predators need shadows. Mia was turning on the lights. Airport police and federal agents arrived, fast dark uniforms, radios, focused eyes. The man near the door tried to step back, but an agent blocked him. Evan began shaking, sobbing silently, head down. Mia placed a steadying hand on his shoulder. Tell them, she whispered. Evan finally spoke, voice cracking open like a dam. He showed the phone, the messages, the photos. The agents moved with speed and precision, pulling the suspicious man aside. One agent looked at Mia, eyebrows raised. You did this? Mia swallowed. He asked for help, she said. So I listened. Hours later, Mia sat in a quiet office, still in uniform, coffee untouched. An agent returned with softer eyes. "We found Evan's sister," he said. Mia's breath stopped. "She's alive." Evan, seated across the room, collapsed into sobs that sounded like his body finally exhaling months of terror. Mia closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks, relief breaking her in half. Outside the window, planes took off into ordinary skies. But Mia knew something now. Sometimes all it takes is a note, and one person willing to read it like a life depends on it.